Morning everybody, welcome back to Land Body Soul, where I am cleaning up my land so I can build a syntropic garden. And I've got something exciting here. At the start of the year I got some bees, and it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I finally just went for it. And this is a bee nuke that was growing for me over Christmas New Year, and I went and picked it up and put it on a temporary stand. And this is me the next morning just releasing the bees. Actually, I released them the night before. They could come and go freely, but I just wanted to come and take those little doors off in case they fell back down. So this is the front of the hive, and you can see the bees coming and going. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of them there at the moment, but they reproduce fairly quickly, and you'll get new bees all the time when you've got a really busy working queen.
Careful, careful, you'll get stung.
So that's looking back down over the back of the property to the creek, and all of that I'm tidying up at the moment, getting ready to have that all a syntropic garden space. I have a lot of trees that I have ready to put in there that I've grown from seed, and I'm also going to be planting a lot of our winter veg to see how that goes. Winter here is our growing season. That's when we get everything growing beautifully because the weather is just perfect here in our subtropical climate. During the summer you can grow summer crops, but you're constantly watering. However, pumpkin vines love it, and we've got vines out there at the moment that are just growing like mad. I have winter gourds in at the moment that are just absolutely taking over, and they look spectacular. So that's me walking down the back there. I've been doing a little bit of a cleanup already, and I've been cutting down some rubbish and lantana. And right down where I am there now, that was all lantana. And I'm almost at the creek there. I'm about 20 metres away from the creek. And this is a big patch that I go and pop a bit of spray on, and it dies off. And lantana needs a couple of sprays before it's completely died off. And when it's just a massive thicket like this, it's actually a lot easier to pop some spray on it, get a lot of that leaf to drop off, and then get in there either with some snippers or some lantana. There's a previous video that I've got where I was getting into the lantana with my chainsaw. This morning I got into some more lantana with my brush cutter with the metal head on it, so I'll show you that later in another video. But yeah, underneath this there was some old logs. The previous owner was into logging. I'm pointing at a macaranga tree there, and underneath that's all lantana. And there's lots of grass and ferns and all sorts of stuff. So in here it's mostly natives. All those trees of course going to stay because they're spectacular. That's a what are those flowers called? Anyway, that's not native, but I'm going to keep it because it's pretty. So these are the logs. They've been laying here for 20 years, and it's amazing that they're still reasonably good. I may actually end up using them in the syntropic garden. I don't know. When I clear them up and I get a better look at them, I'll decide then. But yeah, that's how much I've got to go till I get back to the creek. I have given that a spray. Hibiscus? Are they hibiscus? Yeah, they're really beautiful. That vine in there, I think that's some sort of Asian root vegetable. And yeah, all that grass. See, because there's lots of logs and everything in there, it makes it tricky to get in there with the brush cutter. We're standing on a high lot of logs there, so it is just much easier to hit it with a bit of glyphosate and knock it down, and then you can get in and see what's going on. But yeah, that's a big patch that I cleaned up just recently. And actually I did that one with the big long handled secateurs, and it was pretty good. Takes a bit longer, but you know, you get there. It's good when you got stuff on your mind. You can just go down and smash out some lantana. So we just make our way down over the logs and through the dead grass, and you can see it's starting to come back. It doesn't take long in the rainforest. There's just constant rain. That's our beautiful Byfield fern that's just particular to this area. And if you come around here and see, we've got a massive pile of rocks. So all the stuff that I cleaned up the other day, which you saw with me chainsawing all the lantana, this is one of the fire pits left over from that, and we just have a little poke around here. I do my fires small and within the regulations. It's got to be under 2 by 2 meters, and then I feed the fire. So all these dead patches here where I had treetops laying down and trimmed up ready to go in little piles that I could just keep feeding onto the fire. All those stacks there, that is actually going to be little tree protectors when I put the trees down in the syntropic garden, and all those dead patches of grass were my fire feedings. So this is behind that fire pit again, so I have a few more to clean up and put into stacks, but we ended up having 13 inches of rain, which is the most I've ever had here in one sitting in 17 years. I've had a metre of rain, but 13 inches is a huge amount, and we had that over 5 days. So work stopped for a little bit, and every time it stopped raining, I quickly took the puppies outside for a run around because they were getting a little bit tired of being inside, and so was I, quite frankly. So this is our creek. That's my beautiful outdoor spa. And the creek's flowing pretty quickly here, not as quickly as it was the day before when one of the dogs washed down a little bit and come back off the side. That's pretty funny. I'll find that clip and show you another time. This is our beautiful rainforest, and looking up into the trees. It's just spectacular here at the creek. This isn't an always running creek, and at this time of year when we don't get any rain, sometimes this is just completely dry, but when it comes to the rain season, then it's always flowing. So here's me showing you my next stack that I burnt. I'm measuring a stick here because, like I said, your fire has to be under 2 meters in all directions. So that stick is about 180, which is about just under 6 foot, which is just under 2 meters. And I like my fire just a little bit smaller than 2 meters because when you're feeding your fire, you can just get some bits and pieces just hanging over. So it just still keeps it in that 2 meter dimension. And I tell you what, it's just so much easier to manage a smaller fire too. If you do have a bigger fire, like if I wanted to burn all of that, I wouldn't want to manage that at all, and I would have to get a fire permit. So you've got to go and talk to your local rural fire brigade, and they've got someone there who will issue your permit and make sure that everything is clear all around and make sure it's safe. Make sure you've got the water to be able to put out a fire, which we do. We've got a big dam, and I've got a firefighter pump on that dam, so that gets kicked on when we're having a fire. And then I have the hose running if I need it, which I don't because I take all the precautions. You can see me there just pulling little extra bits away. That's another pile that I would feed onto the fire as that pile goes down. And I want to make sure that that's far enough away for me to be able to not have that catch on fire with the other one, because I want to be able to manage the fire my way. And having a fire is actually pretty scary, and you never want to worry about it getting out of control. And we have had that happen, not me personally, because that would just be crazy, but people who have been in the area and have not known how to manage a fire properly, or lighting at the wrong time, and or just trying to light stuff up that's just a massive pile, and next minute, you know, the whole bush is burning down. That's something you never ever want to experience. It's a terrible thing. And yeah, so this is the fire the next day, because I'm not going to show you the big blaze and me feeding that fire, because I don't really want to encourage that. Make sure you do the right thing with your fire, people. We don't want any trouble. We don't want houses burning down. We don't want big roaring fires. In summer, I would not usually burn a fire at all because it's just too much of a precarious situation. But because we just had so much rain before my first fire, we had 4 inches and then we just had 13 inches. So the ground is really, really wet. And that fire just needed a little bit of extra help to get it going. So I had some biodiesel that I chucked on that, just a cup to get it going. And so, yeah, that's where all the extra stuff was that I had fed that fire. I now have a stump there that I need to work on getting out. And yeah, that was a tree that fell over in the cyclone and then kept growing, and then it had all its extra little stumps grew out of it as well. So these are the next fires that I'm going to burn. I've got to tidy that up and get it into a good little tight stack. And up behind there you can see where there's a little bit more to go that I need to stack into my piles. And I don't do more than one fire at once. I don't want to have to manage too much. I want to be able to just kick back and watch it burn out at the end of the night. I don't want to have to watch too many fires. So that's looking back in the other direction. And yeah, good job. Well done. See you next time.